Hello to the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the very first Sleeveless Comics live stream. So, real quick before we get started, if you enjoy the show at any point, please do me a favor and hit that like button. It definitely helps me out quite a bit. And yeah, today what we're going to be doing is talking about three specific things. About this channel and my business going forward. I've had a little bit of time to sleep, even though it doesn't look it. I'm still decompressing from the fact that I just finished 1/3 of my fulfillment on this comic in a night. It's pretty intense, to say the least. I'm already hearing back from people who have read the book. A lot of people are really loving the story. There's also some criticisms, but I think that they're valid criticisms, ones that we will be taking into account going forward, for sure. Because there's always room for improvement. There's no such thing as a perfect comic book. So let's go ahead and get into a few things. So the first topic is going to actually be about conduct and about what the brand is going to do going forward with that sort of thing. So obviously I, as Micah Curtis, am a part of Comicsgate. I think that goes beyond, without saying. I was one of the first people to be a part of it. And as such, I still believe in the Comicsgate principles. Quality books, no rampant politicization, and that the customer matters. And this is a declaration to anyone out there who might be wanting me to decry one thing or another. I am not the type of person who believes in guilt by association. If a person of a specific fan group, I don't care what fan group it is, whether it's the Fandom Menace, whether it's the War Campaign, or what have you, if they want to buy my comics, they are more than welcome to do so. I am not going to tell them otherwise. I am also not going to police their behavior. That is not my job. My job is to make comic books. I am a writer. I am a business owner. As such, that is my job. That is what I'm going to do. When I tried to be Micah Curtis, officer of the CGPD, my life was fucking miserable. That is not my job. I don't think that we have a police force, nor should we. So, I am not going to sit here and police opinions. If you want to police opinions, and anybody out there, that's your business. It's not mine. It doesn't make money. What makes money and what makes people happy is good comic books. And that's what I'm going to focus on. The thing about where I'm at right now with all of that is that I am going to use this platform of Sleeveless Comics not just to promote my own work, but also to promote other creators. And there are certain books out there that some might not agree with, or with whatever group that is producing said book, but I think is quality, and I want to talk about it, and I want to get their perspectives on it. As such, if you are not a War Campaign fan, you are more than welcome to not tune into the show whenever I eventually have Gat Hanzo and Doodlebags on here to talk about Vestige 2. I greatly enjoyed the first Vestige book. I want to talk about the next one. I want to talk about Doodle's art. I want to talk about Gat's writing, and so on and so forth. If you don't like them, that's fine. You're more than welcome not to tune in. You can just catch a different show. But I will not have my brand be policed by people on the outside who are going to tell me how to run my business. I will run it the way that I see fit. So, that goes with anybody, because I have had people on my channel from all different factions and what have you. I don't have a faction. I am just Comicsgate. That's it. That's all. And if you don't like that, then here's what I'm going to say. I will be at the CG convention next year, whenever it happens, no matter what goes on. And if you have a problem with me, I'll bring a pair of boxing gloves for you. We'll put it that way. I'm not playing your internet games. Not interested. We're gonna be men about these things. And I will drag you motherfuckers to glory, even if I have to do it with you kicking and screaming. Like, Jesus Christ, man. There's a lot of people being man-children out there these days. On all sides. It's not interesting. So, but that is what part of the Sleeveless Comics brand is going to be. The ethics of my brand are based on the principles of Comicsgate. I will not say otherwise. As such, I'm going to stick to those principles constantly. And I will not give them up for anyone. I don't care who you are or how much money you make. Doesn't matter. Principles matter to me. You know, I'm not going to sit here and be judge, jury, and executioner of other people's behavior. The measure in which you judge, for you too shall be judged. I try to keep that in mind. So that's what I wanted to say about the brand going forward. Oh, there's another thing that's said. There's also a lot of worry about poaching and things like that. That within the community that I wanted to talk about. And yes, that is actually true. There is talk about, there are people within the community that seem to want to poach talent from other creators mid-book and things like that. That is the same mistake that Image Comics made. And I am of the opinion that that is foolish and very short-sighted. If you're just worried about making a book for money and the quick cash grabs and what have you, your business will not last 10 years. Image Comics now is a joke. If it wasn't for The Walking Dead, Image Comics would have been dead ages ago because of nonsense like this. I'm not playing that game. So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to do the smart business thing instead of just complaining about it. Aside from just pointing it out. I'm going to say this to any writer or any artist out there that is interested in possibly working with me in the future. I'm going to make sure that you are paid a very good page rate. I will make sure that a contract is drawn up between the two of us of assurances from me to you and vice versa. That way, the business is set in stone. And that is not something that needs to be worried about. And then once the contract is up, if you don't want to work with me anymore, that's perfectly fine. If you'd like to work with me again, we'll talk about the next project, you know. But that's business. That's the way that business works. I'm going to make sure that the talent that works with me is always taken care of. Always. And Brian Martinez, my artist on Englewood, is actually in the chat right now. He can actually tell you that I am very good at taking care of the people who work with me. In fact, I try to go a little bit further. So, but that's the way to do it, man. Take care of your artists if you're a writer. Take care of them. Make sure that you're delivering the best story for them to work on so that when they attach their name to you, they are not fucked. Because that can hurt their careers. You as the writer constantly have to come forward and bring your best. I think that I put my best foot forward with Englewood's writing. I really think that I did. So, that is the business element of things. That is the way that I'm going to conduct my business. Like I said, if you have any issues with that, you can come to me and talk to me about it privately, or we can, I can give you a pair of boxing gloves and we can do that. I'm being sarcastic about that second part, by the way. These are not things worth fist fighting about. Not to mention, there's not many people. I don't think there's anybody in Comicsgate who could beat me in a fist fight anyway. Anyway. So let's talk about the second part. So Englewood is out in digital. The physical, we are sending off the proofs today. the standard. There's two different types of books. There's the normal physical, and then there's the director's cut. The physical book, we've got the proof already set, the 36 pages. For those of you who back digital, that is basically what is the proof that's finished. We're sending that off. I did catch a typo in it. There was only one, thankfully, but I can't believe I missed it because it was on one of the first pages, and I feel like an asshole. So if you want a new PDF with that corrected, please do let us know. We will get that to you. I would imagine everybody's going to. So we're prepared to give everyone a new PDF with that fixed. So, but anyway, that will be going off to the printers today, and then I'm gonna be streaming until Hatman gets to the office today, to his office, and then we're gonna conference call, and we're gonna get the director's cut finished, and ready to go. We're gonna format the pages, and get that done, and then we're gonna send that off to the printers. So, and we've already gotten a quote from the printers, and they will have, if we send off the proofs today, we should have the physical books at the North Carolina shipping location by Friday. And then they will get mailed out on Saturday. So, just so you guys know. And like I said in the video, posters are coming last, just because we had a printer malfunction. But we are going to get that fixed for you, and then we're going to get those printed out and sent, because we got about 100 of those to send out. Anyway, let's talk about the future. So I've talked about the future with Brian and Armand. They're both going to stick with me on this, which of course I'm very happy to have them, because I think we did a great job. I think that we put together a comic book that is something that a lot of people aren't doing right now. They're not doing street level, they're not doing superheroes, and they're not doing, in my opinion, origin stories that hit hard. And we did all of that. We communicated the story, I think, really well. And I think that right now we're one of the best teams in Comicsgate. Seriously. I think that when it comes to that sort of storytelling ability, there's not people that are going to be able to touch us in the future. I will stake my claim right now. I think I'm one of the best writers, if I'm not the best. And anybody can challenge me on it, man. But I'm staking my claim there. That book is fantastic in its writing. I actually read it as a fan yesterday, and I was like, shit, I wrote this? So, but I'm obviously bragging, but I'm very happy with it. I think I have good reason to be happy. You know? But, what we have to talk about is the future. What is the future of Englewood? What is the future of this franchise? So here's what we have planned. And the script is almost complete. I've only got about 10 pages left to go on it. Englewood Book 2 will do two things. It will be 66 pages, maybe a little bit more, of full color action. Second, it will close out the current arc that starts with this story. It will close out that arc and set up for the next one. So, it will be a pretty substantial book. But I think that people are really going to enjoy it. I felt that after writing issue 1 and issue 0, which is the first 12 pages of it, that it was... There was no other way that I could not leave it on a cliffhanger. I could not do that again to the audience. So I said 66 pages is good. It definitely does no one any good. There needs to be a conclusion here. So that is what we will be delivering. So for those of you who who are like, shit, man, I want more Englewood after that, well, there you go. That's what we're going to do. So, as you guys know, though, 3 Nights, 4 Days is my next comic. So when are we doing Englewood Book 2? Well, we're going to work ahead. Brian also has his own book he's been mentioning in the chat called Bombshell. That is art's done by him. The script is written by his wife, and I will be editing it. So I will be the editor on that book. So I will be helping promote that. That will be another book that he's working on. But we're going to do some work to get ahead on both Englewood Book 2 and also the Englewood Peregrine crossover. Now, I don't know who's going to do the art on the Englewood Peregrine crossover, because Brian might be busy with Englewood Book 2. And I know that in talking to the graded team, they want to capitalize on the massive success of Peregrine, which has like 800 backers right now, with that crossover once Peregrine comes out. And that's what I want to do as well. So we will see what to do there. I will come up with a plan with them, because it is basically a co-op between our two brands, because we share the same philosophy on the superhero, that the superhero needs to be rebuilt. No more fucking deconstructing. Let's rebuild. Let's bring something new. The new generation is here. And that's what that poster, by the way, that we did signifies, that Brian did the pencils for, is the rebirth, the new generation, the new Batman, the new Supergirl, basically. That is what we are bringing to you guys. That is the desire. So, that's what we go and do when it comes to these sorts of things. But that is what we are going to do with that. We are going to bring an end to the Carlos arc. It will have a solid conclusion to it. I'm not going to spoil what that conclusion is, and we'll set up for the next Englewood arc. So yeah. Well, I can't say Superman because it's a chick. Because you have to keep in mind, I don't know if you guys have seen Peregrine. That universe's Superman is dead. Silver Falcon. He's toast. So. But anyway. That is the goal with Englewood Book 2. Is to bring a conclusive end to that arc and set up for the next one. And the next arc after the current one is fucking nuts. I've already got it outlined. It's bonkers. It's going to be crazy. And I've got other shit planned for it too. In fact, we're going to talk about other Englewood stuff that's in production that I'm in the process of outlining and writing. So, we are going to start doing books called... Oh, talking metaphorically. Fair enough, Ultimate Agent. But, we are going to start doing a series called Tales from Englewood. Obviously written by yours truly. Though I would be willing to hire other writers to do it. Depending on the cost. The current ones that I have outlined is one called The Contender, which is about, the character of Angelica from the story. And her journey to the professional league, or her professional journey and how she met Elijah Wallace. And that is a story that I've actually worked out some of the details with Armand already. And he really likes where that's going. So, I don't know who would do the art on it, but that is outlined. That would be just a single issue that would be available with a bigger book. So I am considering to do that. There's another one called Tales from Englewood: The Dreamer that I'm in the process of working with. I already know who I want to work on that as a writer-artist duo, and I just edit it. I want Odie and Liam to do Dreamer. Dreamer would probably be of around 40 pages. It would be like, or 36 rather, to tell the story of a cybernetic villain. Who, we'll just put it that way. Dreamer is is kind of a horror anime inspired character. A little bit of Ghost in the Shell, a little bit of a little bit of Lucky Chloe from Tekken, believe it or not. But more so, a lot of Matrix feels to the character too. So that one is something that I want those guys to work on. I would basically be hiring the entirety of the Xenotype team to do that. I'm already in talks with Liam about it to do that. I think he likes the concept. It's just about time, you know. But Dreamer is another one that I would like to do to introduce another villain. The big one is a book called The Bounty Hunter. That is something that I am in the process of writing as well. It is basically my attempt to do neo-noir within Chicago. That would be a pretty substantial book. It would probably have its own campaign. But I want Tales from Englewood to be a side series. Sort of like, basically what I want is I want the main Englewood book to tell the story of Elijah Wallace. I want Tales from Englewood to tell the story of Chicago and the characters within it. And in Bounty Hunter, we would start setting up the Cosa Nostra, which is going to be a big factor in Englewood going forward. The one thing that I am considering doing with the Bounty Hunter, I don't know if I'm going to have the money to do this. It's going to depend on the success of other books. I'm considering reaching out to Christopher Priest. I don't know if he would accept it, but I'm considering it. I would like to see Priest write a neo-noir story. So, yeah. I'm going big or I'm going home at this point. But that's what I have planned for Englewood's future. I have the next few arcs plus Tales from Englewood planned out. I don't know if it's all going to come together the way that I want it to, but I'm going to try to make sure that it happens. So, but for me, reaching out to Christopher Priest is a big deal because he is my hero whenever it comes to comic book writing. He is probably my biggest influence at this point. Him and Warren Ellis. Tyler Preston asks, is Priest even a supporter of CG? I don't know. But I know that he is working independent right now. He's doing Vampirella. And as such, I would like to bring him on. But if there is backlash against it, if you don't like the idea of me doing something like that, I would like to hear people tell me. Because like I said, this brand is all about fans. So if that is not something people would want, I want to hear why. And I will take it under advisement. And I will listen, because that's what I do. I'm here for the fans. You know, not just a set group of fans, the fans. All of them. Because that's who matters. So, there goes that. Next bit. final bit for today's stream before I open it up to Q&A. The 3 nights, 4 days launch. Right now, we are planning on launching it on Wednesday, which is the 10th. For those who do not know, that book is by myself, with art by the incredibly talented Preston Acevedo, and then colors by the amazingly talented Oliver Lee Arce of 656 Studios. Let's go ahead and actually bring up that campaign real quick. We're going to do 2 things for you today. I'm going to show you guys the mailing list part of it, but I'm also going to show you guys the campaign as well. And a couple of inside things. So if you'll bear with me for just a second to pull these up. We are going to give you guys an idea of what's going down. So bear with me for just a sec. Sorry, I should have prepared a little better. There we go. Okay. So, there we are. So, on the mailing list, you can sign up today. Link is in the description. If you get on the list, you will receive 2 specific items, no matter what perk you get. If you back the book and you're on the mailing list, you are going to get 3 free bookmarks and 3 free trading cards. That's more than any other mailing list is willing to give you, by the way. They're saying, oh, like, we'll give you a trading card. We'll give you a bookmark. Nah, fuck all that. I want to give you a bunch of stuff. Because adopting something early is risky. I want to reward that risk. Call it a pre-order bonus. I don't give a shit. Maybe I'm the EA of comics, and I'm actually sacrificing goats to Satan in my non-existent basement. So no, I'm kidding. Thanks, Wilt Wooster, by the way. So, things that will be available we'll go over here in a second. But if you get on this mailing list, that is what you are getting. Plus, there is access to a super secret perk that Preston has already spoiled, which is fine. But here is the thing. We will be launching this live on this channel on Wednesday. I'm going to hammer out a good time for Oliver and Hatman and Preston, so that we can have the whole team here, and Eric Weathers too if he wants to hang out. And we are going to just take a couple of hours to talk about the book, talk to the fans, see what's going on. Now, during the course of that live stream, if for some reason you do not get the link in your email to that secret perk, that way you can actually let us know right out of the gate in the chat you didn't receive it, so that way Hatman can go ahead and do the customer service thing and get you taken care of. So he will be handling that during that live stream. And I think that that's probably the best idea I've come up with it so far. So yeah, you can sign up, get on the list. As you can see, Oliver's art is color work's amazing. Preston's art is amazing. And this I thought was a really, really cool quote from my buddy Von Klaus. He says, "An epic masterpiece entry into a genre in desperate need of new blood." Yeah. High praise from a very, very good writer. Now, time for spoilers. First off, one of the add-ons on the campaign is going to be a poster. And this is just a work in progress bit of it. Just a basic sketch of how it's going to look. But as you can see, it's going to be very atmospheric. So, this will be available as an add-on. This is just the early sketching, but you can kind of get the atmosphere. This is done by questionable weeb friend Chris, who did the poster for Englewood as well. So really looking forward to this one. As for the campaign, this is it. Let me show it to you. So this will not show the add-ons, but I will give you guys the details on them right now. So the goal is $11,000. This is what it will cost, bare minimum, to get everybody paid and get this book shipped. So 11 grand is what we're asking for. I don't think that that's a lot. I think that that's about right for the size of the book and the quality of art. As you can see here, I've got some snippets of the art that you can see at the top. Gives a little bit of character background. But, we got some of the sequentials here that have been completely finished. And let me just show you guys the stretch goals. 20K, Vinny Tartamella will be doing an alternate cover for us. That will be an homage to John Carpenter's Prince of Darkness, which is one of my biggest inspirations for this book. At 30,000, every backer is going to get 3 buttons, each with the trademark helmets of the knights. At 35K, every backer gets a sticker. At 40K, new trading cards, and I'm giving my team a pay bonus. At 50K, me and Preston are going to go to North Carolina to sign everything. I'm going to see about getting Oliver out there too. Have a big party. So, yeah. Let's go over the perks real quick and what you guys can get. What's the size of the book? 44 pages. So, the comic itself is going to be $25 plus shipping. We're looking at possibly sending it out September, October. There will be an art book available as well. That art book will have a sketch cover of the original promo art. It's going to be manga sized. And we'll have different sketches and stuff from the book itself. Now, if you get throw in for $100, which is only going to be 10 of these available, you will get a head sketch from Preston Acevedo inside of your art book. We're going to have an empty page for that. So, if you want to be in the book and be a cultist, we're going to have 10 of these available, and it's $250. So it's about the same as most other campaigns. And then finally, if you want to snag yourself one of the original comic pages, you can do so for $500. Now, if I click here, it includes the comic itself and the 3 Nights book. Just so you know. I need to change that estimated shipping. The estimated shipping is in September. But one thing also to mention with this is that with this particular tier, if you are an art collector, because I definitely know we have quite a few of those in Comicsgate, this will be shipped 2 separate ways, which is why the shipping will be a little bit more than usual. The art itself will come from Preston, and he will send it to you at his leisure, probably before fulfillment. And then the book and everything else will get fulfilled to you whenever it's finished. So, there we go. Now, one thing to mention is that there will be several add-ons, basically. I have made it with this campaign so that you can customize your perks. So, let's say you get the comic and you say, I want another comic. You'll obviously see there's no second comic tier. Well, all you have to do is add it on. And then you've got yourself a second comic tier. Well, what if you say to yourself, what if I want 2 comics and 2 art books? You can do that too. What if I want 2 comics, 2 art books, and a poster? You can do that too. So, there you go. You know? And if you want some of this higher stuff, what I would actually say is that commit to it, and then also get, just add on what you want. So that way, if you want a ton of 3 nights, 4 days shit, it's easy to do. You don't have to back the book several times. You can still be one backer with a big order. And I wanted to make sure that that was available for you guys. So, I think I've thought of everything. If there's something I have missed, please let me know. I will do my best to make sure I can get something to you guys. I want to make sure that anything you want from us that is within reason is doable. Wooster, yeah, let me show that again. So this is the work in progress on the poster. Obviously, this is just a rough sketch. But this is kind of the basic atmosphere of what it's going to look like. The 3 knights in the center, the cultists in the background, and then, of course, the satyr, and stuff like that. And with the fog and all that fun stuff. So it will... I don't know when the poster's going to be done, but I'm still going to put it in there. And I'll put the I'm going to put the work in progress stuff on the campaign so that people can see it. So... Goodness, I'm still decompressing from Englewood, man. I'm so tired. There's a lot of work to still be done. So, again, Wednesday is when we are launching. Like I said, I would not launch this campaign until fulfillment has started on Englewood. It has begun. So we're ready to go. It's time. It's been beyond time for 3 nights to be launched. People have been waiting for this book for ages, it seems. And we're ready. My team is ready. We've been ready. We're going to do it. You know? My goodness. It's time, you know? It's time to do it. It's time to get it rolling. It's time to kick ass. Time to take the pie. Time to take all the pies. Every pie. God, pie sounds really good right now. 12 pies sounds really good right now. Like just a big fucking banana cream pie. Sounds awesome. So, let's do this. Q&A. We're going to do it for about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to get Hatman on the phone so we can go ahead and get rolling. Okay. So, Tyler Preston wants to know, do other supernatural creatures exist? Depends by what you mean. There's definitely more than just, demons. We'll just put it that way. But I'm not going too crazy. Zion the Blank wants to know, was work on the comic pretty steady, or were there periods of more work than others? Oh, absolutely. And Brian and Armand can attest to this. There were points while we were working on Englewood where just life stuff got involved. And I'm not talking about COVID. There's some goofball in the last video. It's like, you're blaming COVID for stuff. I'm like, nope, there were 0 delays during COVID. I never brought it up. Shut up. It's an anti-CG guy. Not even worth mentioning his name. The thing is that, there were a couple points where it slowed to a crawl because of life. You know, because the fact is, it was Englewood was the first comic that any of us had ever done. And, yeah. It sometimes shit just got in the way, but we're gonna fix that. Let's see here. Hardboiled says, love to write a piece for Tales from Englewood. Hopefully Luminar impresses you enough to be able to bring you on. Well, yeah, let's see how Luminar turns out, and then we'll go from there. Because it's not just about, you know, whether or not you're good. It's about whether or not you're right for the project. So that's sort of my thing. I don't just hire people just because of talent. They've got to be the right guy at the right time. You know, Brian and Armand were the right people for Englewood. Because they have a style that has a good sense of motion to it. And a lot of people have been like, well, the art's a little bit more cartoony and too much like an Ed McGuinness sort of style. I'm like, yeah, that's the point. I need art that flows. I need, like, it's a comic book with combat in it, and a lot of it. The art has to flow. It has to go from place to place. Like, that's one thing that a lot of people who've reviewed the book have, like, complimented me on. It's like the fight scenes are fantastic because they're blow by blow, and you can follow the flow of the fight very, very well. You know, and that was the goal, you know? Daniel Parker says, I'm getting ready to do a 22-page comic. What do you think a good price for a 22 is? $5. So if you're going to crowdfund it, don't expect to make a lot of money. Because it costs you about $10 to ship that book. Because you're going to have to buy materials, and you're going to have to pay for the shipping. And that's not easy to do. I would actually advise doing a full-size graphic novel and selling it for the normal graphic novel price. Because people are not going to commit to a book where the shipping is more than the book itself looking at you, Doug Tadable. Wilberforce Wooster says, how goes the Englewood Peregrine crossover? So the outline is finished, and everybody on Graded and Scott McCullough, who is a co-creator of Peregrine, agreed on it and liked it. They like where I'm going with it. Scott actually paid me a very big compliment. He said that I am one of the few people in CG that he would trust with that character. And that meant a lot to me, because I know he really loves the character. Sorry, I needed more wake-up juice. But, I also need to crack my neck. But the thing with that is I have not started scripting it. It is next on the list. So once Englewood Book 2 is done scripting, which I am on, I want to say I'm on page 10 with it. Let me pull the script up real quick. God, I'm so tired, man. It's a crazy feeling once the book is finished. You know, it's just a crazy feeling. It's like, I was already published as an author, in a sense, because I've been on several websites. But I've never been a published comic book author until right now. So. But anyway, let me pull this up here. Blurgity blurgity blurg. Where'd it go? Documents. Okay. Where am I at with this? And I'm going to work on this again today. I'm probably going to work on this while we're setting up the proofs for... what? Phew! Holy shit! I thought that all the pages I did yesterday were not saved. I about had a heart attack. Oh my god. Fuck. Okay, I'm on page 7 of the third part of it. So that's page 51 of 66. So I got 15 more to go. I thought I was a little further than that. Let's see here. So once that's done, I would give me about a week or so. I'll start the scripting of Peregrine, and then I'll get together with Graded. We're gonna figure out the art team, and getting it scheduled as when we're gonna do it, and when we're able to do it, and then we're gonna go from there. So, Servant of God wants to know: are there any other gods in your universe, and if not, why? It's complicated. Stay tuned. We'll just put it that way. Tyler Preston says Micah is not blaming it on COVID. He's not Nasser. Exactly. Nasser does not take responsibility for things. I'm not trying to start drama. I'm just saying. He does not take responsibility. He always blames it on other things. He blamed the failure of his book on COVID. No, the failure of your book is because you're a prick. You're a prick to fans. You're a prick to other people that are in the industry. You're a prick to everybody. And not to mention his campaign had false advertising. He said that the artist of Spawn was on his comic. Now, if you hear the artist of Spawn, the first thing that comes to your mind is somebody who worked on the Spawn comic book, the main series. The person who was working on the book with him did not do that. They did a tie-in comic for a toy. So that's false advertising. You can't do that. People knew that. You know, the instant that they saw that Greg Capullo was not on there, or Todd McFarlane was not on there, or any other mainline artist on Spawn, they tuned out. It's like, oh, he worked on a toy. You just lied to me, you little shit. So. Anyway. Blurgity blurgity blurg. Other question. Changus wants to know, how many more crossovers do you intend? I don't know. I mean, people get psyched about them. People get happy about them. So, I don't know. I actually don't have an answer to that. They'll come as they do. Right now, I think the Peregrine one came across because of fan demand. Like, we released that poster. There's 2 posters that are being done for the Peregrine campaign. One is with Elijah Wallace from Englewood. The other one is with Star Supreme from Cider Hype's upcoming book, The Colossals. And people reacted so strongly to the Peregrine one that they wanted that actual comic. And I said, hey guys, I told the guys that created it, I'm like, look, people are bugging me about this. They're saying, we want this comic. This needs to be a comic. So, if you guys tell me to write the thing, I'll write the thing. And I'll start immediately. And I'll have an outline for you tonight. And Xavier and Optimus were in the chat, and they said, do it. And I did. And they were like, holy fuck. This guy's fantastic. And I'm like, you're goddamn right I am. So... yeah. Let's see here. Somebody had asked about George Alexopoulos, and Wilberforce Wooster answered that one. So, yeah, George kind of got a little big for his britches there. Servant of God says, Project Lazarus Cyberfraud crossover, please. That depends on how well Project Lazarus does, and if Ethan would want to do that. I would definitely not be against it, but let's get Lazarus out first, and then we'll go from there. I think that book will be well received. I think people are itching for a really good teen book. That is like this old school X-Men or Stormwatch or the Authority style book that's not super fucking pretentious. So, that is what I'm looking to do with Project Lazarus. And Bob Stone and I think we have a good plan going ahead. Alistair Folgore says, any advice to improve one's writing? Write a lot. Write every day if you can. That's what I would say. It's practice, practice, practice. Like any other art form. It's just practicing. You got to keep in mind, I have been writing consistently for over a decade. You know? And only now am I able to make a living off of it. So, practice, 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 practice. It's the same thing with like learning an instrument. Practice, 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 practice. It's the reason that my bass skills have gone nowhere over the last 3 years is I don't take the time to practice anymore. My bass is just sitting there collecting dust because I just don't take the time to do it. And I probably should because it helps me relax. But I'm very bad with scheduling. Hardboiled Entertainment says your vid about avoiding decompression was a big help to me. I'm big on characterization and dialogue, less on type plots. Could we see more writing advice vids in the near future? Yes, that's part of the reason I started this channel. Is I wanted to do stuff like that, to where I could kind of give an idea of how I do things the way that I do it. Because some of you guys, if you read Englewood and you're in the chat, you can confirm the book is not decompressed at all. It's very, very old school in the way that it's written. I prefer the older, as I comb my beard here, I prefer the old style of more panels, easy to follow, but you can accomplish a lot within 22 pages. You know, while I was writing Englewood, I was reading a lot of Chris Claremont stuff and a lot of Frank Miller. And those are two writers that can get a lot done in 22 pages. You know? Speaking of pretentious, any word on Preston Poulter's supposed criminal charges against Ethan? Non-existent. He has nothing you can charge him with. You know, everything that Preston Poulter has said is a lie. So, don't listen to him. He never speaks the truth. Lying is his primary language. It is his native tongue. So, he's not really worth even taking time. He's done at this point. He's got nothing. His last book didn't even make $2,500. Sister Bex wants to know, what is the hardest thing that will be punched in 3 nights, 4 days? Well, that would be a spoiler. I can't tell that. How dare you? Things will be punched. We'll just put it that way. Maybe a boulder. Because you can't stop the rock. My arms hurt. I did a workout yesterday. Just all resistance band, like, high rep stuff. So my arms are very tired. Probably why I'm still sleepy. Probably why I'm so hungry. That's kind of the thing, like, the day after a heavy workout, I am just like a black hole. of a stomach. Just... No, I'm not doing that again. Hope everybody's doing alright, by the way. I think you all are awesome. Thank you all, seriously, for backing the book. I'm awestruck by it. I really am. I'm awestruck by what we've been able to do with it. I'm also awestruck by all the stuff we've got in the future, too. We have some incredible offerings. We've got more Englewood. We've got 3 Nights, 4 Days, Part 1, Part 2. Project Lazarus, Bombshell, Tales from Englewood. Yeah. A lot of good stuff, man. There's other books I still want to do, too. And I gotta nail down artists for them. So, like I said, if you are an artist out there and you want to work with me, hit me up. Let's talk. Let's come up with some concepts. Let's get you to work. You know, let's plan ahead. Let's schedule it. Let's get it started. And we'll go from there. Alright, guys. I'm going to go ahead and take off. I think this has been a really good stream. A lot of questions answered. Not a huge audience, but it doesn't need to be. I mean, this is a new... Sister X says, will any of your comics come with a soundtrack? Well, let me just say this before I close out. There is actually a 3 Nights, 4 Days soundtrack, which I made for free on Spotify. And I'm going to link it to you guys right now. So give me a second to open my Spotify account, and I will give you guys the link right there in the chat. So, oh my goodness. So tired. Oh, fuck. Big yawn. Exhaustion. God, I look like I haven't slept in a year. I kind of want to take a day off, but I can't take a day off, so I'm not going to take a day off. It's not loading. Gotta love technical difficulties. There we go. Did you try turning it off and turning it back on again? So, if you want to listen to the unofficial soundtrack for 3 Nights, 4 Days, you can go onto Spotify and listen to that playlist, and it will get you ready for the book. So, I'm going to go get some sleep. So, with all that said, everything said and ready and out there, I'm excited to give you guys the next step. So until then, my name is Micah Curtis, your favorite Vanilla Gorilla. No. My name is Micah Curtis, also known as Vanilla Garad. I'll see you guys next time. Hail.